I did want to. You touched on it earlier. I wanted to get your take on the San. Well, I just want to have a little chat about the Sancho thing actually, because that kind of it felt like kind of overshadowed everything actually after the game because it came sort of out of nowhere. Because I missed the whole thing about Ten Hag saying what he said. I think it was in his actual press match conference rather than like an interview on Sky or whatever. But it's been the reaction online is always interesting because it's Twitter normally, but like the reaction's been really interesting and it seems very split down the middle as a lot of these things usually are between who was right out of Ten Hag and Sancho and stuff. I think obviously you touched on it earlier, but it does kind of feel like Sancho's been given every chance possible. And it might just be that Ten Hag is right and he's not applying himself properly in training. Like,
you've got to give, like, you can give people so many opportunities. Like, he's come in, he wasn't fit, he wasn't right mentally. He got sent away for 3 months to go and help with that. He's been given game time. He's been given game time in preseason, and like, whilst like what I'm seeing a lot is like he's frustrated at the fact that other players are getting looks ahead of him. Like Anthony is, like, when he's been struggling for consistency. Although that being said, I think Anthony actually had a really good game at the weekend. I thought that was one of the first times where I thought, actually, no, he's actually looking useful there. And even though there was a lot of times where he was looking frustrated because they just weren't passing him the ball when he was in acres of space, which is an issue. And I think that's just more like a progressing the ball through the thirds issue more than anything. But anyway, I'm digressing a bit. He's not been getting the game time. When he does play, he doesn't kind of impact the game that much. He has flashes where he looks decent, but this is a player that, like, when he was in Germany was putting in like messy numbers in terms of like assists and goals, and that's not an over exaggeration. Like, he was like, I think he was operating on like a 1.5 goals or assists per game for like 2 years at Dortmund. Rightly was on the shortlist of a lot of teams, but since he's coming at United, like, he's not shown any application, he's not shown any consistency or production. Like, it's just, that's been the case. And as much as I want it to work, I like him as a player. I think, obviously, I've seen what he did in a Dortmund shirt, and I'd love that to be the case at United. He's got, like, if he's playing off the wing, he's got Rashford, he's got Garnacho in front of him. He ain't getting in front of them. He's not a striker. Like, Martial's getting picked in front of him, and he's a shadow of his former self. He's not getting a game on the right-hand side. Whenever Anthony's coming off, it looks like he's going with Pellistri or someone else. And we've got Diallo, who lit the championship up last year, to come back as well. So it's like, where is he getting in this? Where is he getting in this team? He's not taking Bruno's spot. He's not going to get a starting point. He's the highest paid player at the club, I think, now.
That's
maybe
mental.
He's because of the contract he was given when he was signed, and he cost 75 million quid. Like, if you've got a player there who is not help, like, as much as I want it to work, I think he just needs to go. Like, and it's not a dig out at Sancho. It's like, it's just obviously not working for whatever reason. Like, he needs to go somewhere and where it's not like the scorched earth that is around him right now, because whether it is his mentality or his effort or whatever it is, like, that might be wrong. One of them's right. Either he's been training well and Ten Hag has decided that he doesn't like him, or the manager that has given him numerous opportunities is saying, you're still not working hard enough, you're not doing what I need you to do to get in this team, and there's a consequence for his actions. And like, that just feels like that's what it is. But it is once again another backstage drama at United that just seems to follow the club around at the minute. Like, the last few years, it's just been drama after drama after drama. And I don't know whether it is because it's United and it's publicised more, but it just feels like it's a constant thing at the minute.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of. It feels like I thought West Ham were bad for leaks. It does feel like there's a lot of leaks that come out of United. It's like
not just
it's like, oh, yeah. It's like, Sancho's representatives have said this, and it's just like, why are you got, like, why are you leaking stuff? Like Dean Henderson, I'm pretty sure, was one that used to leak stuff all the time out of the dressing room, and it's just like, it's, and leaks obviously come from the boardroom level, of course they do, but the fact also still is coming from the dressing room is insane to me. And like, I think I'm with Ten Hag on this one, because I think it's one of them. And I spoke about the other on stream the other night, and I said that, in a way, on a human level, I can understand why Sancho may have felt the need to put that statement out, because ultimately, to get to back him a little bit now, even though I think Ten Hag was right to do it, I think ultimately, if your manager's coming out and saying that, and then you go and talk to him privately, and then it gets sorted out and whatever, like that, what Ten Hag said is still in the public domain. And I get it must be frustrating that you want to feel like you have the opportunity to defend yourself and go, well, no, hang on, I'm doing my bit. But the problem is, it's so how many managers in the last decade have gone out and done, like Mourinho made a career out of it, of going out and slagging his players off to get a reaction out of them. Sometimes the players respond well to it, sometimes they don't. And I saw someone on Twitter being like, well, it's obvious that Sancho doesn't respond well to this. Why has he done it then? It's like, because he's tried everything else. Like you said, he gave him 3 months off last season to go and get his head right and have someone work with him and get him, slowly bring him back into the starting 11 and whatnot. And it's, for whatever reason, it's still not working. So I think it might be, I don't think Ten Hag, from outside looking in, it doesn't seem like Ten Hag's just being a dick for the sake of being a dick. I think he's just trying to get the right reaction out of him. And I think that Sancho's reaction has probably told him everything he needs to know about him.
I don't even necessarily think he's going out to bury Jadon Sancho. Like, it was just a question that was asked why he wasn't in the squad. And he just said, he's not trained well enough. And that is what's been blown up. And it's a weird statement from him as well, where Sancho says, don't believe everything you've read. It's like, well, he didn't read anything, he said it. It's like, this isn't, it's a whole weird situation. And whilst he has got previous for this at other clubs, and I know like he's, there is a laundry list of these kind of things happening with him. I don't want to tie him with a brush. Like,
that's right. I read about it today. I didn't realize there was stuff at Dortmund that, like, of similar things of turning up late for training. I think Southgate had concerns. That's why he didn't really get picked in the England's team all that much. At the time it was at Dortmund's. Like, I'd never seen that sort of stuff before.
But as well with that, like, that is in the past, and like, I don't want to tar someone's previous behaviors the same. Assuming that's what they'll do the same.
Of course,
do now. People grow up, people change, right? But when the manager is saying you're not doing enough after giving you every opportunity, the reaction to go, well, I am doing enough, is just a weird one. It just doesn't resonate very well, does it? Like, if you were training hard enough, if you were putting the effort in, this is a team that does have spaces that you can go into. If you were doing it, you would be in the team, and you're not. So, like, rather than going, well, I think I've been doing fine, maybe just take your medicine and like accept the fact that you could be doing more, because one of them's right. And I don't think it's, say, Jadon Sancho.
No, it feels very much. I mean, where do you see this ended? It feels to me like it's kind of, this is the beginning of the end now. You rarely see a positive resolution come from these types of situations. It feels like.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't a digging out of him. It was just a comment on why he wasn't in the team, and for him to come out in this very reactionary, defensive manner shows that maybe it is the beginning of the end, and maybe it is a case of, with the Saudi window still being open, maybe we'll see some movement before then. Obviously, we're struggling for depth in a lot of positions, but if you're not getting in ahead of players who have spent the last few years out on loan and literal children, like, then what depth is he bringing to the team anyway?